Hey guys, welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit, Am I the A-hole?
This one's from user Signed Rights. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to sign away my rights? Look, I know it's my choice and I have a right to say no, but right now it feels like the rest of the world doesn't agree. Honestly, I, 26 male, didn't know this woman that well when we first met through a dating site. She was 35 and according to her profile was single. She never told me she was married. We went out on a few dates for 4 months until she told me she wasn't interested anymore. I later found out it was because her husband was getting suspicious and she needed to cut her losses. But a few months after, she contacted me again and told me she was pregnant. It hadn't been that long since we slept together and she confessed everything. Her husband still didn't know yet because she wanted to find out who the father was first. We did the prenatal paternity test and confirmed her baby is also mine. She had to tell him after that and it was a crap show. He wanted to speak to me and called me like crazy. She got him to leave me alone after telling him I never knew about her being married. We were both lied to by her. They are apparently trying to work things out, but here's the thing. Her husband wants me completely out of the picture and is willing to adopt my baby if I terminate my parental rights. He doesn't want me in their lives at all, and this is his only condition or he's divorcing her and taking their 2 kids. Don't know if he can actually do that, but she's begging me to do this or it'll completely break their family. Neither of them are considering that this is my child too, and I want to be in my child's life. I said I would not, and it's causing all these problems. She's called several times telling me how badly this is hurting her family and her kids are hurt and confused because her husband's temporarily moved out until this condition is met. She feels guilty for doing this to them, but says she wants to fix her mistakes and make their marriage work. If I could just do this. Plus, to her, it's a sweet deal for me since I won't ever have to raise this baby or be responsible financially. I don't see it that way. I want to be a dad to my son, but it feels like what I want is hurting everyone else, like her kids. My close friends who know all this get I want to do right by my kid, but feel I should walk away from this messy situation as it'll always be a part of my life if I choose to be involved. And it's possible if her husband is willing to adopt my son after birth, he'll have a good life. Nobody else in my life thinks me being in my son's life is a good idea, and I don't know if it really is such a bad thing. She's due in 2 months and I don't know what to do. Am I the a-hole?
The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments.
Suck You Lent says, not the a-hole. Lawyer up, and I'd also suggest maybe asking r/relationships. You have a right to be a part of your child's life and legal advice will help you go through your options. She lied to you, and in doing so, set herself up for a stuffed marriage. She can't use that as an excuse to ostracize you out of your child's life. Just Work Already says, quote, she called me several times telling me how badly this is hurting her family, end quote. Excuse me, but she did this to herself, not the a-hole. Foralark90 says, not the a-hole, because as bad as all this is, you are only responsible for that child. You didn't lie, you weren't cheating, and you have rights. How would you feel if that marriage breaks up anyway, and the husband resents your son and you can do nothing to help? I absolutely agree. OP, you are in no way the a-hole here. She did this to herself and she did this to her family. She's the one that decided to open up an online dating profile considering she's married. And she's the one that decided to have an affair. I mean, you didn't know she was married, so it's not like you were an intentional homewrecker or anything like that. Now, I don't know if the affair, the physical part of the affair, was protected or unprotected. And at this point, it doesn't really matter because there's a baby on the way anyways. Now she's all victim playing, oh, you're destroying my family? No, OP, you're not destroying anything, so don't let that blame fall on you. If you want to be a part of your son's life, then you can be a part of your son's life. If this is tearing up her family, well then she needs to take a hard look at herself and place the blame where it should be. Here's the thing, OP, you can get a lot of opinions from different people, but in the end of the day, it's what feels right to you. If you do not want to give up the rights to your son and you want to be a part of his life, then that is your legal right. So F the cheater that put you in this situation, and you do right by your son. At least, that's what I think you should do. That's what I would do. What about you guys? What do you think OP should do? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the update to see what ended up happening. It's been a while since I posted this, and a lot has happened since then. And by a lot, I mean I finally became a dad! My son is healthy and beautiful, most beautiful baby I've ever seen. One of the best things to ever happen to me, honestly, despite the drama. Thank you everyone who was helpful and encouraging in this situation. It felt good to know, even with what everyone else was saying, I had a right to say no to my ex's demands and I'm not the one at fault for what happened. Several of you had suggested I talk to her about switching it around so that I could ask about getting full custody instead of being cut out if her husband had such a problem with me being around. Was a great idea, and I feel pretty stupid for not thinking about it myself. So here's what happened. I decided to try again and contact her husband because throughout this whole time he was refusing to speak to me. But I just wanted to see if I could get through to him as a last resort. He agreed for us to talk, and I was shocked to find out he'd actually changed his mind about accepting the baby 2 months ago, before I made the post. Originally, he did have that condition that he'd only take her back and adopt my son if I wasn't in the picture, but decided he didn't want to raise another man's baby. So she lied to me about him still having this condition, and this was just her attempt to try to fix everything even though he was planning on going through with the divorce. He was pretty mad about what she was doing too, so he was kind of on my side about it. Did get a lawyer involved and had another talk with her as well, after he spoke to her pretty much saying he'd never take her back no matter what she did at this point. That got her to see trying to keep me out wasn't going to do anything. I brought up the full custody thing to see if that was something she wanted, and she agreed. To her, there was no point in having my son full-time with this whole divorce going on, and she doesn't even have her own place. He moved back into their house with his kids, and she ended up leaving. Going through with my attorney, I was able to establish paternity after my son was born, so that I'd be legally recognized as his father instead of her soon-to-be ex. As of right now, he's with me full time, but she still comes by to visit. Her life is a total mess right now with a divorce, and she's still pretty bitter towards me about it. It's not perfect, but I'm just so happy having my son in my life. Holding him for the first time, it made all the struggles worth it. It's definitely overwhelming doing it mostly on my own, but I don't regret how things played out. So thanks for the support and advice. It really helped make a difference when I couldn't see a way out of this without feeling like I was doing something wrong. Congratulations, OP. I am so happy for you and your son to have somebody in their life that is just going to be there for them willingly. Because let's face it, that trash pile of a human being that had an affair with you, she just cares about herself. All of this is how it affects her. She's still bitter towards you about what? She's the one that did this to herself. She needs to understand this. But that's just me getting riled up at this whole messy situation. Anyways, back to you and your son. I'm really happy for you both, you and your son, and hopefully you have a support network that can help you with the overwhelming stuff. In any case, I am sure you're going to be a great dad because you've proven to be up to the challenge even before that kid got here. So I wish you the best, OP, in this grand and awesome adventure that is parenthood. Take care and stay safe. And now let's move on to another post. This one's from user It'sAbella154. Am I the a-hole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind? The title seems really bad, but hear me out. I, 19 female, have an elder sister, 25 female, who recently lost her best friend due to a car accident. They were friends from literally when they both were babies. All this has affected her in a really bad way. It's been 2 months since the accident, and ever since then, she has been really quiet. She barely eats anything or talks to anyone. Her college grades have also dropped. Seeing all this, I'm really worried about her. I tried talking to her, but she won't open up to me. I couldn't see her like that anymore, so I suggested to my parents that we should let her seek help from a professional like a therapist. But here's the thing. My parents don't believe that mental health issues are real. They are very traditional people when it comes to mental health. Apart from that, they are really up to date with everything. It's just the mental health that feels like a taboo to them. They just told me that there is nothing therapy can do and that she will get over it soon. But I told them that it's not a thing which you can get over soon, and the condition my sister is in right now, I don't think that she will get over it soon. But my parents wouldn't hear the end of it. Then they started to tell me about my cousin, whom I don't really know or talk to, that she faked that she was in a really bad mental health state just to get attention from people around her, and that her parents wasted a lot of money and time on her therapy, so they don't believe in it. They don't think my sister needs therapy because she is not depressed or anything like that. At this point, I'm furious, and I kinda raised my voice and said, "What the F, guys? My sister is not like her, and she is clearly not faking it. Can't you guys see her? The way that she is being? She is not okay. How effing blind can you guys be? And are we gonna wait around till the time she gets effing depressed to seek professional help?" Mind you, this was the first time I was talking to them in this way, all of this just for my sister, who was their daughter as well. My parents got mad at me for raising my voice and calling them blind, and scolded me for talking to them like that and cursing at them. They also told me that I'm young, so I shouldn't talk about things that I don't understand. They called me a brat and are not on speaking terms with me. Am I the a-hole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind?
The judgment is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments.
Check the boxes says, not the a-hole. You and your sis are both old enough to find a therapist yourselves, so forget the parents and get her a therapist. Gently used says, not the a-hole. It sounds as if your sister is already experiencing depression. Have a son that deals with it. Grief will definitely take you through various emotions and can take a while to cope with. Please reach out to someone now for her, and kudos for being a great little sister and looking out for what's best for her. Best to all of you. Libra Blue 3 says, not the a-hole. Can we stop calling people traditional when it comes to mental health? The word you're looking for is ignorant. Oh, I agree so much with this last commenter. Absolutely ignorant. Not traditional. Your parents are morons. Are they also anti-vaxxers and flat earthers? Do they believe that archaeologists go around burying dinosaur bones to prove that the earth is older than they think it is? Anyways, putting the ignorance aside, your sister needs help. And if they won't do it, then it's up to you. Take your sister to a therapist or try to find one for her. If your parents won't help, are there any other family members that might? Maybe friends of hers, maybe their parents can help out. You simply can't ignore mental health issues away. That doesn't happen. They don't go away when you pretend they don't exist. Your sister lost one of the most important people in her life, and she is definitely going through grief. If nobody's there to help her go through it, then she might get really, really depressed. There's something that needs to be done. But now it just seems like I'm doubling down on the same point. So that's enough out of me, and let's continue with the update to see what ended up happening after this. Since many of you asked me for the update, here it is. First of all, I want to thank each and every single one of you for showing so much support for my sister and I. Thank you guys for the silver and other awards as well. These are my very first awards, so thank you very much. I would also like to thank to some of the people with the "you're the a-hole" opinion, because that helped me as well. After reading all of the comments, I went ahead and talked to my sister and asked her how she would feel about trying talking to a professional. She didn't agree right away, but after a little coaxing, she agreed to it. I told her what happened between our parents, and let's just say there were many tears and hugs after that. I then made my parents sit down on the dining table. I apologized to them for shouting and cursing at them, but I told them that mental health is a real thing and we should at least give talking to a professional one chance. If my sister doesn't feel that it's helping her, we will take a look at some other options. My parents didn't agree at first, but then I told them, this time in a very polite manner, that it is a really difficult time for my sister and we should help her, and knowing that they were here to support would mean the world to her. I also told them that having mental health issues and seeking professional help is nothing to be ashamed of. Instead, we should embrace it because it's okay to need someone's help. At this point, I was a crying mess, and my parents were on the verge of crying as well. They were reluctant, but they agreed. We went to my sister's room and we told her that we are here for her whenever she needs us. Our parents apologized for behaving the way they did and told us that there is nothing more important than seeing their children happy, and that they would be coming to the sessions if my sister feels like she needs them there. All this ended in a big hug and a lot of happy tears, so my sister is going for an appointment next week. I hope everything goes well. Fingers crossed! Once again, thank you all for showing support and the positivity. I showed all of the comments to my sister and she was overwhelmed by the support and saying thank you to you guys. Thank you for the You're the A-hole as well. My sister saw them and thought that you guys were right, as I shouldn't have cursed at my parents. But once again, thank you so much, guys. Alright, OP, congratulations. You really are helping your sister. This is awesome. And you did it in a way that I didn't see coming, to be honest. I thought your parents were far gone. But just sitting down and calming yourself and talking to them in a calm manner like you say, well, that did the trick. You basically proved the phrase that you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. And logic. Don't forget to add logic into that, because your parents needed a little bit of that too. Anyways, your sister's on track to having her therapy session, and hopefully she does get the help that she needs to move through her grief and get to a better place in life. Well done, OP. All the best and take care. And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Also, if you feel like chatting with others from this community, you can always join my Discord server and check out my subreddit. I'll leave the links in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.